In the endless black of space, there are civilizations that have never known defeat. And then there are humans who have never known when to quit. The Kethari Empire, an ancient race of towering silver-skinned beings, ruled over 200 worlds. Their queen, Xy'thara the Unyielding, commanded armies that could melt moons and silence rebellions before the first scream. To her, the idea of human warriors was laughable. They were small, fragile, carbon-based anomalies from a backwater planet on the fringe of the Orion Arm. A species barely unified, barely evolved, yet somehow, they kept surviving. Until one day, Queen Xy'thara decided to see for herself why the galaxy whispered their name. Scene Tube 045 to 2 o'clock. It began on the burned plains of Velkaris 9. A world the Kethari had conquered decades ago. Now they faced an uprising, not from aliens but from humans. Soldiers of the Terran Defense Accord who had come to liberate the enslaved colonies. The Queen watched from the bridge of her flagship, the Spear of Dominion, as human landing craft streaked through the atmosphere. "Pathetic," she hissed, her voice echoing through the command chamber. They charge headlong into plasma fire, wrapped in metal shells and arrogance. Do they think their courage will stop ion cannons? Her warlord, General Vorn, bowed deeply. "Majesty, their behavior is typical. Humans overestimate their importance. They mistake desperation for bravery." The Queen smirked. "Then let us educate them." Scene 3, 2 to 320. The first wave of human troops landed in the scarlet dust. They formed tight squads, scanning the horizon. Above them, Kethari warships opened fire. Plasma rain scorched the ground, tearing craters through rock and flesh alike. Still, the humans advanced. Queen Xy'thara tilted her head, amused. "Look at them. They march toward annihilation. Not one retreats." On her display, a human commander, armor battered, voice hoarse, barked through the comms. "Hold the line. For every one of us that falls, 2 of them will remember." He chuckled. Such quaint bravado. And yet, her smile faded when she saw what came next. The humans adapted. They used the terrain, dug into the craters her weapons had made, turned destruction into cover. Their drones swarmed low, jamming sensors, while infantry slipped between ion blasts like ghosts in the dust. Their leader's name flashed on her holofeed. Captain Elias Kael. Scene 4, 320 to 5 o'clock. Hours passed. The Queen grew restless. "How long to crush them?" she demanded. General Vorn shifted uneasily. "They've breached the southern ridges, Majesty. Their weaponry is primitive, but their tactics..." "Tactics?" she snapped. "They are mammals playing soldier." But Vorn hesitated. "They are learning." Her eyes narrowed. Down below, Captain Kael crawled through the ruins of a Kethari gun emplacement. His armor was scorched, his breathing ragged. He pressed a bloodied hand to his communicator. "This is Kael. Target grid 9 Delta. Airstrike 20 seconds. A voice crackled back. "That's our own position." Kael smiled grimly. "Exactly." The Queen watched in disbelief as human dropships screamed from the sky, unloading payloads directly onto Kael's coordinates, vaporizing Kethari forces while Kael and his squad hid beneath reinforced plating from their fallen enemies. He emerged from the smoke, cloak torn, rifle raised, walking like death itself. For the first time in years, Queen Xy'thara felt something unfamiliar, a chill. Scene 5, 5 to 640. By dusk the battlefield was chaos. The humans refused to die properly. The Queen descended to the surface, her massive form wrapped in obsidian armor, her eyes glowing with royal power. Around her, Kethari soldiers bowed as she stepped into the burning wasteland. "I will see this Captain Kael myself," she declared. When the two finally met, the air itself seemed to still. Kael stood alone on a mound of debris, holding his cracked helmet under one arm. His face was dirty, scarred, and utterly calm. "So," the Queen said, voice echoing with disdain, "you are the one who defies the Kethari Empire." Kael's tone was even. "No. I'm the one reminding you that empires fall." The soldiers around her snarled, weapons raised. But she lifted a hand. "Let him speak." "You call us weak," Kael continued. "But we don't fight because we think we're strong. We fight because we must. You've never known desperation, never had to crawl from the ashes of your own mistakes. We have." She tilted her head. "And you believe that makes you special?" Kael met her gaze. "No. It makes us human." Scene 6:640 to 8:20. The Queen laughed, a sound like breaking glass. Bold words from a dying man. Then she attacked. Lightning from her staff scorched the ground where Kael stood. He dove aside, rolling through the dirt, firing bursts of plasma rounds that shattered harmlessly against her armor. She moved like a storm, elegant, unstoppable. Every strike left molten craters in the earth. But Kael didn't aim for her. He aimed for the ground beneath her, weakening the terrain with each blast. The Queen stepped forward for the killing blow, and the earth gave way. She plunged into a fissure of burning metal and ash. Kael stumbled forward, panting. "Never underestimate the ground you stand on," he muttered. From the smoke, her laughter rose again. "Impressive, human." She rose from the crater, armor cracked but eyes blazing with fury. "But I am no mere warrior." Scene 7:8:20 to 10 o'clock. Above them, thunder roared. The Queen summoned the power of her warship, channeling its energy into herself. Her form expanding, her body now wreathed in blue fire. Kethari soldiers fell to their knees. Kael's squad looked on in horror. "Fall back!" someone yelled. Kael shook his head. "No. If she's the heart of this war, then we stop it here." He activated his comlink. "Orion Command. Authorize payload Sigma." A cold voice replied. "That's a classified orbital strike, Captain. You'll be vaporized." Kael looked up at the Queen, now towering above him like a goddess of destruction. "Do it." Seconds later, the sky split apart. A beam of light, brighter than dawn, slammed into the battlefield. The Queen screamed as energy cascaded through her, her armor fracturing, her power breaking apart into shards of light. When the dust cleared, both sides were silent. The Queen lay on the ground, alive, but broken, and Kael, half buried beneath debris, dragged himself free, barely breathing. He looked at her and whispered, "You wanted to see what a human warrior could do." Scene 8:10 to 12 o'clock. Days later, within the Kethari medical chambers, the Queen awoke, surrounded by silence. Her empire had retreated. The war was over. General Vorn approached, bowing. "Majesty, the humans are offering peace." She stared at the ceiling, remembering the look in Kael's eyes, that mix of defiance and mercy. "Peace," she murmured. "He spared me." Vorn hesitated. "He said you should live to remember what you witnessed." She sat up slowly. "And what did I witness, General?" Vorn's voice was low. "The impossible." For weeks, she studied human transmissions. Footage of Earth's history, its wars, its art, its endless resilience. She saw a pattern no data model could explain. A species that grew stronger the more it suffered. And for the first time, the queen understood what she had mocked. Scene 9, 12 to 13:30. Months later, a delegation arrived on Kethari Prime, humans, led by Captain Elias Kael, now walking with a mechanical brace. The hall was silent as he entered. The queen rose from her throne and descended the steps. Every alien in the chamber held their breath. Then, to their astonishment, she bowed, the ruler of 100 worlds bending her knee before a single man. "You have earned the respect of the Kethari," she said. "And my own." Kael nodded. "We didn't come for respect, Your Majesty. We came for peace." She smiled faintly. "Perhaps both can exist." Scene 10, 1330 to 1500 hours. Years passed. The Kethari and humans became unlikely allies, trading science, culture, and, more importantly, understanding. Yet, even after treaties and shared colonies, one truth remained whispered across the stars. That on the crimson plains of Velkaris 9, a queen who had mocked humanity saw what it truly meant to fight like one. And from that day on, no Kethari commander ever underestimated the resolve of a Terran soldier. Epilogue 15 to 1630. In her private chamber, Queen Xy'thara kept a single relic, a fragment of Kael's shattered helmet, placed in a glass case beside her throne. When young warriors asked her why she honored her former enemy, she would answer, "Because he taught me that strength is not in bloodlines or power, but in the fire that refuses to die." And across the galaxy, wherever humans set foot, the legend spread. The alien queen ridiculed human warriors, until she saw one fight in battle.